You know, we all think we know the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, but what if it wasn't just some one-off event from ancient history? The source material we're digging into today argues it's actually something much more. It's a chilling template for divine judgment that has repeated itself and, well, is set to repeat again.
You see, for the early believers, this wasn't just some optional story. It was required learning. The message was crystal clear. God deals with wickedness, as he did with the flood and with fire, but he also rescues the righteous. So these weren't just stories. They were fundamental warnings about a pattern of judgment and rescue that just keeps showing up.
So how exactly does this pattern work? Well, the whole argument here is that Sodom isn't just a historical footnote. It's a recurring theme, almost like a preview for a future time of judgment that, interestingly, also reveals a way out.
And look, this isn't some modern theory somebody cooked up. The source points right to Yeshua, or Jesus, who himself made this connection. He specifically framed Noah's flood and Lot's fiery destruction as direct previews of what we should expect at the end of days.
Okay, so let's break this down. The repeating pattern is actually pretty clear when you lay it out. In both Noah's time and Lot's time, people are just living. They're completely wrapped up in their ordinary lives, eating, drinking, buying, selling. Then, boom, sudden judgment falls, a world-ending flood or fire from the sky. But, and this is key, in both cases, the righteous are spared. This, according to the source, is the exact template for the future. But here's the thing, the pattern isn't just about judgment. It's also about the warning that comes before it. And the source argues that Yeshua intentionally repeated another crucial part of this model. He sent messengers out ahead of time. And this is where it gets really fascinating. Have you ever noticed this two witnesses motif? It's everywhere. You've got two angels sent to Sodom. Then Yeshua sends his disciples out two by two. And way down the line in the book of Revelation, there's a final prophecy about, you guessed it, two witnesses. The source is basically screaming, hey, this detail is important. It keeps happening for a reason. And this mission, it wasn't random. It followed a very specific blueprint that looks a lot like what the angels did in Sodom. Step 1, send witnesses in pairs, which establishes a legally valid testimony. Step 2, they deliver this urgent warning that the kingdom of heaven is right at the door. And step 3, they back it up with miracles, proving the kingdom was so close you could practically touch it. So all this brings up a really big moral question. When you're faced with a world that seems to be heading for judgment, what's the right response? The source material gives us two totally different reactions. One is all about mercy, and the other is all about condemnation. First, you've got Abraham. When he finds out what's about to happen to Sodom, he doesn't celebrate. He doesn't say they're getting what they deserve. No, he intercedes. He actually challenges God, appealing to his own sense of justice, trying to bargain to save the entire city for the sake of just a few good people. This is held up as the gold standard. Now flip that coin completely. Look at Yeshua's own disciples, James and John. When a village doesn't welcome them, what's their first instinct? Hey, Master, should we call down fire from heaven and just wipe them out? They want to pull a Sodom right then and there. And Yeshua has to rebuke them, saying he came to save lives, not destroy them. Talk about a night and day difference, right? And what this all boils down to is a really powerful idea from the source, that the presence of the righteous can actually hold back disaster. Just like Abraham's pleading could have saved Sodom, the argument is that God might spare an entire city, maybe even the whole world, for the sake of the faithful few who are in it. Okay, now this is where the whole story takes a really surprising turn. You might think you know who gets the worst of it in the end, but the source material delivers a verdict that is honestly the last thing you'd expect. So let's just ask the question straight up. In the final judgment, who could possibly have it worse than the people of Sodom and Gomorrah? The answer might actually shock you. It's the people who got the warning and just ignored it. The source argues it's not really about the scale of the sin itself, but about rejecting the message of repentance. That's what brings a heavier condemnation. And the logic behind this is what the source calls the principle of accountability. To whom much is given, much is required. Think about it. The towns in Galilee were held to a way higher standard because they had everything. They had the scriptures, the prophets, they even saw miracles with their own eyes. The people of Sodom, on the other hand, they sinned in ignorance, relatively speaking. They never got that chance. And this isn't just someone's interpretation, it's a direct quote from Yeshua.
He actually says it will be more bearable for Sodom on Judgment Day than for the towns that saw his work and still refuse to change. I mean, what a stunning reversal of what you'd expect. So, this leaves us with one final kind of haunting warning from the source. Remember Lot's wife. And here's the point. Even when you're being rescued, your attachment to the world that's being judged can be fatal. She was being pulled out, she was on the road to safety, but she looked back. Her heart was still in Sodom, and because of that, she perished. It leaves us with a pretty provocative question, doesn't it? What are we holding on to so tightly that we might not be able to let go when the time comes?